Bonjour. Hello. Thanks for joining. I am winding some yarn so I can get some swatching done this weekend. My squeaky ball winder that I've had for over 20 years still working. Ooh, this looks great. Look at that. This is our colorway Callisto on DK. I showed this to you guys yesterday on that sock, which I didn't work on last night because I was tired. I went straight home to relax. But here's what it looks like on fingering weight. And I knit this sock in fingering weight. This is a super sock. So I'm going to do some swatching in DK, give you an idea what it looks like. I'm working on, let me move this here so you guys can see better. I'm going to do a fade swatch for comfort fade. As you know, there's a comfort fade cal going on with the Grocery Girls and the Bien Aimée. And it started about almost a month ago. I feel like it's gone by really fast. And I still haven't cast on because I couldn't decide on my colors. And so I figured I would swatch. I think I'm going to go for a green purple fade. I'm totally obsessed with these colors. And so I'm winding my skeins to make my fade swatch to see how everything works out. So the next color I'm winding is Anemenamu. This is one of our new colorways. It's on the base of Anemone, which is this one. And we put some lovely speckles on here from a colorway called Namu, and this is called Anemenamu. So I'm just going to wind this. Hope you guys brought your knitting. There's not going to be a lot of talking while I wind. I am getting messages from my daughter. I need to go home in a little bit. But I wanted to wind with you guys before I headed home. I try not to bring too much work with me at home. And let's wind some Anemenamu. shall we? So if you're just tuning in, I'm just winding up some skeins to do some swatching this weekend. You might start in on it tonight. Where are you guys all tuning in from? I'm still learning about this new format of going live on YouTube, but I'm really enjoying it. Maybe this is like incredibly annoying to watch somebody wind yarn. But when I did this over at Instagram, so many people were into it. They were writing me messages and saying like, oh, wind more yarn. So here I am, winding more yarn. Sunray, you're tuning in from Northern California. Yay! It is 7:55 p.m. here in Paris. So I have a feeling in Northern California you're just starting your day. Or maybe you've already started your day, but it's still morning. Is anyone knitting anything interesting right now? Like I said yesterday, I've just been knitting socks because it's been pretty much all that I can kind of focus on. So I'm going to do some swatches, and that fills my process knitting up to the brim. I love knitting swatches and seeing how the colors play together and finding new textures. It's been a short week this week here in Paris. Monday was a holiday, so we started the week on Tuesday. And we also went back into confinement this past weekend. What that means is that the schools closed. Luckily, we're able to continue working here at Bien Aimée because we're not open to the public. So here's Anemenamu. Really lovely purple. So what we did is we took anemone and we speckled on top with Anemenamu. It's really nice. I love this color. Next up, I'm going to wind Ursa, which is another new color that we made late last year. It's reading a little bit brighter on the screen than it really is. It's more of a darker khaki kind of green, definitely with like high tones and dark tones, and we speckle on top of it to kind of give this like camouflage feel to it. So it's really nice. It adds some depth, so you can see some like nice yellow speckles popping out every once in a while. And this is called Ursa on our merino DK base. The guy who knits is a teacher from Alabama reporting from your planning period. Oh, that's wonderful. Do you knit sometimes on your breaks during your planning period? Alrighty, let's get this one wound up here. You know, sometimes when you start winding a skein of yarn and you already know that it might be a misbehaving skein of yarn, I think this one might be a little hard to wind. I might end up winding it by hand, but we'll see. The guy who knits says, I certainly do. It's a great refresher before my next class. I wish I knit in high school. I think that would have made me way more relaxed than I was in high school. So, Azahi tuned in yesterday. Oops, I'm having a little bit of an issue here. And she says, being with you yesterday made me think about the Bien Aimée stash I have, and it'll be my next project. So finishing my present knitting now so I can quickly start my next project. That's exciting. Do you have a list of projects that you're interested in casting on? I have so many things that I want to knit, and I just don't have a lot of knitting mojo right now. See, this skein is not being easy. Let's try this again. Here we go. I usually hand wind my skeins, but I'm impatient to start this swatch. So I broke out my old winder and I'm going to it. Just a second here. Okay. So you just bought a sweater quantities from Espace Tricot. How exciting. What color did you get? Sunray asked, when you come across a messy skein, do you snap them first? Does that help? Yeah, sometimes it can help to snap them. We snap all of our skeins before we wind them so they don't come tangly, but sometimes they just come to us a little tangly. We don't even know until after we've dyed them. This one's okay. There's just like one strand that was kind of going the wrong way. I needed to pull it back in the other direction. Hi, everyone who's just joined. This is so wonderful to have you all here with me. Hi, Heather Cunningham. Yay, I've missed the lives on IG. I have missed them too, but this is a way easier format for me because I can actually knit comfortably without having to kind of try to look over my shoulder, my phone, to look at the comments. So this is Ursa on Merino GK. The color's coming out a little bit lighter on the screen than it really is. It's a little bit darker than this, but it is definitely a shifty khaki green. And we've speckled over the top to kind of give it some depth, and it's really cool. Love that. I'm gonna fade these two together and see how it goes. I may pull in another color. I don't have it here with me, but we'll see. I'm going to start knitting actually with the purples first so that I can decide where I'm going to go after this. I'm not really 100% convinced I'm going to use Callisto. So this is Anemone. This is like a pinky purple lavender color that I saw everywhere when I was in Japan a couple years ago. I came home and immediately made this color. I love it. It's like the perfect neon lavender purple. And I love it so much. So I'm going to make a sweater with it. I'm definitely using Anemenamu and Anemone. I'm going to fade these two together. I'm all about the subtle fades. Okay, I'll just get this wound up here. So if you're just joining in, this is my second time I've gone live on YouTube, kind of to take the place of those live feeds that I was doing on Instagram, which were super fun, but really hard to manage. This is much easier to manage. So if you want to ask me a question in the comments, please go for it. Let me know what you guys are knitting. I'm always interested to know what you have on your needles. I am winding some yarn so that I can make a swatch. Hi, Heather. Yes, I know. My cuticles actually show how stressed out I am. I'm trying to be better about it. I'm hoping that these YouTube lives that I'm going to be doing will help me keep myself in check. But yeah, my nails are really short and my cuticles are really dry, and I pick them when I'm stressed out. Trying to be less stressed out. More knitting, less stress, right? Thanks for joining us, Susanna. I'm so glad to be back to doing my lives here on Instagram. I'm so glad that you guys can join. Susanna says, knitting hats and a triangle increased marled blanket for my son's apartment in San Francisco. Wow, that is incredible. That reminds me of the blanket my mom knit. My husband and I, when we got married, we use it all the time. It's such a lovely keepsake. So I'm sure that I'm sure that blanket will be well used in your son's apartment. So Heather, you've cast on some socks. That's exciting. What kind of socks are you knitting? Are you doing toe up? So if this is the first time you're tuning in, this is pretty much all that I do. I go live, I will wind yarn and cast on and knit. And sometimes I'm knitting a project, sometimes I'm talking about some of the yarn that we are working on. But mostly I'm just here knitting so that we can hang out together online, since we can't hang out together in real life. And you can leave me a comment in the chat and I will try to answer. And I will always save these onto my channel for those who can't join in. I'm not organized enough to have a set time to go live, so I will always announce in my stories that I'm going to go live on YouTube. So if you don't want to miss, you can sign up for a notification of my stories at Instagram, or I think when you subscribe to my channel and I go live, you get an email, which is exciting. So Heather, you're knitting a vanilla pair of socks toe up. Me too. That's exactly what I'm doing. I just let the yarn do all the talking. I like to pick a nice speckly yarn when I knit socks like that. So I've just wound. Let me push my camera back into screen here. Here we go. Anemone. So Anemone is the base color of Anemenamu, which has the speckles from Namu on it. It's going to be super cute. Because we speckle on this one, it gets a little bit darker. So I'm going to knit these two together to make a fade, and then probably going to swatch this one in and see where it takes me after that. I'm going to cast on using these Addie Novel needles that we sell on our online store, and 4mm needles. These needles are really cool. They're like square, and they have these little ridges on them, which make them really comfortable to use. Early last year, I was having some problems with my thumbs, and somebody recommended these needles to me at a trade show, and I have never looked back. I really like them a lot. So let's cast on. I'm going to cast on with Anemone. This darker multicolored, Heather asked what color this is. This is called Callisto. And this is Ursa. I'm just going to do a cable cast on, which is like my go-to cast on for knitting. I do a slip knot and a backward loop. And when casting on, you knit in between the two stitches. I'm going to cast on about 40 stitches, I think, for my fade swatch. Actually, I'm going to go grab one to make sure that that's correct. I believe that's right. So you go in between the two stitches, wrap around, pull it through, and then pull it up. It is different than a knitted cast on, which you actually knit into the stitch, and I'm not doing that. I'm knitting in between the stitches. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. Vi says, thanks for the new method of casting on. It's called a cable cast on. Somebody taught me that a long time ago. Let me think if I can remember who it was. I might have actually learned it from a book. Yeah, I think I learned this from a cast on, cast off book. I really like this. It makes a nice edge that's flexible, stretchy, but not too stretchy. This cast on method is called a cable cast on. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 26, 28, 29. I like to use this cast on to teach beginners. It kind of imitates the knitting movement. I throw, so I always teach people how to throw. But yeah, cable cast on is really easy for beginners to understand. Let me just turn off the notifications on my computer. Here we go, we're getting close. 36. Okay, 4 more stitches. Yes, and so Vi says, I use long tail cast on and almost never have enough yarn. I will try this method. Yeah, I mean, there's long tail cast on. Sometimes you don't pull off enough yarn and you have to start all over again. At least with this method, you only need to leave this much yarn. And so it's great for not having that problem of running out of yarn. So now I've cast on 40 and I'm just going to knit garter stitch edge for my swatch here. Oh my gosh, I need to get some nail polish remover. I like painted this thumb like, I don't even know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I need to take it off. So on my lives, you guys will see me knit lots of swatches. I will knit lots of socks. I might knit a hat every once in a while. And that's probably it, because I can't really knit any big projects right now. I just don't have any like knitting mojo. I talked about this yesterday. I have a hard time finishing a project. I'll like cast on, but then I can't finish. So lucky for me, I have a local sample knitter who I've been working with for many years who can match my gauge, and she likes to finish my projects for me. It's a team effort here at Bien Aimée. There's just not enough hours in the day to get all the knitting done, you know? Oops. Get that last stitch back on there. There we go. Look how pretty that is. So I'm trying out a new mic tonight, you guys. For those of you who tuned in yesterday, maybe you can hear a difference in the sound. I'm not sure if it's better or if it's worse. But I'm trying out it's not a new mic. It's actually the mic that I use for all my Zoom calls. So I was plugged it into my computer to see how it works. Heather says, same here with the long tail cast on. I always plan on extra and still run out. Frustrating, but I've always done the method Amy is showing here. Yeah, I think this is the reason why I started doing cable cast on, is because I got tired of always running out of yarn doing long tail cast on. Oh, hello, Valerie. I see that you said left a message. You said, I just purchased some DK for a similar fade today. I went with Arcadie, wondering if I should have considered Anemenamu. It depends, Valerie, if you want to have more purple or more green. I'm really feeling the purple right now, and so I wanted to have more purple than green. That's why I'm trying to see if I want to do my fade like this, or I might switch this one out for Arcadie and see how it fits in. I definitely know I'm ending with Ursa. So I've got some Arcadie here. I haven't wound it yet. So this one's got too much purple in it. But anyways, I'm going to swatch that and see how I feel about it. And so we'll see. That's what swatching's for, so you can see how the colors play together. Hi, Burley. So what are those needles? Red cord like chagu, but seem to have textured along the shaft. Yes. So I'll hold this up closer so you can see. They are square, and they are called Addy Novel here in Europe. Let me get the package here. I could show it to you. In the US, they're called something else. I think they're called Addy Squared or something like that. And they come with a red cable here in Europe And I think they have a blue cable in North America. So yeah, just look it up. They're made by Addy. I love them. I think they're super comfortable to use. Just because they're square, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Susanna says they're called Rocket Squared. Yes, I think that's what it is, Rocket Squared, which is a really cool name. I don't know why they didn't use those here and use that name here in Europe. The cable is definitely different than Chiago cables. It's not as nice as the Chiago cables. For me, the Chiago cables are the best ones. I love them. They're super flexible. They never get kinky. But yeah, you can't have it all. I would love to put the Chiago cable with these needle heads. That would be perfect. Susanna says that Katrinkle's making a yarn gauge for those square needles. Oh, that's good to know, because it is hard to know what size needles these are. They do have them etched on right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that's nice. But I think I think that's like a recent development, because we've been selling these for like over a year now. And the ones that we had last year in our orders did not have the size included on the needle. So that needle gauge is probably super handy to have. Someone once told me to put the Addy cables in hot water would make them more supple. Oh, interesting. I might try that experiment. See, this is brand new straight out of the pocket, and they are already really kinky. Like, they're all kind of a little curly. So we'll see. For the moment, they don't annoy me too much. So you guys, were hosting Knit Night next week. If I didn't mention it yesterday, I'll mention it again today. Next week on Friday, April 16th, we're hosting our next virtual Knit Night. I'm going to be posting the Zoom link onto our website on Friday. I always post it 1 week in advance. And I hope you guys can join us. It'll be from 7 to 9 p.m. Central European time, so Paris time. And we have some awesome guests joining us. We have Jacqueline C. Slack and John Breingar, who's a designer. He's a knitwear designer and knitwear artist, as I always call him. His Instagram is knitboy1. Jacqueline C. Slack just released the Embody collection with Pom Pom Magazine. Let me grab this. This is her book. So I'm super excited to host her. And we're going to talk about the designs that she's made in Embody using Bien Aimée yarn. Lots of beautiful things that she's made in this book. And we will have a guest hand dyer joining us, Rachel Bratcher from Ritual Dyes. She's located in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, and she will be joining us for Knit Night. So if you guys are free on Friday evening, come join us. It'll be great to have you. I'll be there with my other hosts, Julia, Zach, and Justin. Bring your knitting, of course. Well, it's almost 8:30 here in Paris. I'm going to get to the end of my row here, and then I'm going to sign off and continue my swatch. LD just asked, will you be participating in any of the Vogue Knitting Live virtual sessions this year? I am not currently scheduled for any trunk shows with Vogue Knitting Live thus far. I will be joining on April 17th. There's going to be a panel for local yarn store owners, and I've been invited to speak. So that's going to be happening. So if you're signing up for Vogue Knitting Live, you can definitely see that on their schedule. That's on April 17th. It's going to be a panel with other yarn shop owners, and I think it's going to be animated by Christy Glass. I will be participating in Virtual Knit City this weekend. I'm going to be doing hosting a virtual trunk show and a Q&A, so I will show some of our bundles and our kits, and I'll be taking questions from the audience. You can join in there, and there will also be a special coupon code for the weekend of Knit City Virtual that we will be announcing on Friday evening on Instagram. So if you don't want to miss out on that, go and tap my profile and sign up for notification to get that information. That coupon code will be live all weekend long. Okay, so I'm going to do the edge of my swatch. I just have to remember if I'm doing 4 or 5 stitches. I said I was going to stop at this, but I'm going to go back and do one more. I'm going to do 4 stitches. So I'm knitting a stockinette swatch, and I'm doing a garter stitch edge so that it won't curl. Missy Bay asked, what are you making? I am working. I'm starting on my Comfort Fade swatch. I'm trying to see how these 4 colors are going to play together. And I'm also preparing to make a little video tutorial on how to weave in the ends using merino DK. I've had lots of requests for that. So that will definitely be popping up in the future live. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna get into this row and I'm gonna log off. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little live knit in with me. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And maybe we'll see each other tomorrow. We'll see. I can't have a schedule set up because things are just a little haphazard right now at work. But I'll definitely be posting into my stories if I'm going to go live. So if you do not want to miss out on the live session while it's happening, subscribe to my my Instagram and turn on the notifications. But I'll always post these onto my channel so you can watch them if you miss out. So there we go. I started my swatch in Anemone. Thanks, you guys. Have a great evening. See you soon.